Okay, I got a terrific game for you. This is from the Tata Steel Masters tournament, which is currently going on. We've got the world champion, number one, Magnus Carlsen, is facing off against this German grandmaster, near super grandmaster, rated at 2696, 2700 to super grandmaster. Born in 2004, so creeping up on 19 years old, is Vincent Keymer of Germany. And again, yeah, Magnus Carlsen, world number one, the world champion currently. He is playing the black pieces, and Vincent begins with the queen's pawn opening, pawn to d4. We have knight to f6 by the world champion, and now Vincent goes with c4. We have pawn to g6 by Magnus Carlsen, and this is the King's Indian defense. Knight to c3 now by white, and Magnus Carlsen strikes out with pawn to d4, the Grunfeld defense. We now have knight to f3, and Magnus now develops his bishop to g7. We have bishop to g5 by the German grandmaster, and Magnus goes ahead and plays knight to e4 here. And of course, these are all book moves so far. These guys have all this stuff memorized. They've seen it before. In fact, Magnus has played this game before, this exact opening. He played against Hakuro Nakamura, and I think Lavrana Aronian as well. We now have bishop back to f4 by white, and Magnus goes ahead and captures the knight on c3. We have pawn captures on c3, and now Magnus plays pawn to c6 here. We have pawn to e3 by white, best possible move in the position, and now Magnus goes ahead and castles. There has been several grandmaster games that have been played to this exact position. Bishop to e2 was played in a couple of them. Pawn captures on d5 has been played in a couple of them. But in this case, Vincent goes ahead and plays queen to b3. Only one other game was played to this exact position, and that game was between Lavrana Aronian and Jan Nepomniachtchi, world champion candidate Nepomniachtchi. Nepomniachtchi played pawn to b6 in that game, but in this case, Magnus plays queen to a5, and it is as of this move that we have a brand new chess game, never been played before. And this is the best possible move that can be played in the position. We now have bishop to e2 by the German grandmaster, and Magnus goes ahead and grabs the pawn on c4 with d captures c4. We have bishop now captures c4 by the German grandmaster, and Magnus develops his knight to d7. We have bishop to g5 by the German grandmaster. And this is a mistake. He should have instead castled, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at that variation now. So instead, the German grandmaster should have castled here, and then knight to b6 would have been best for black. Bishop then to c7 for white. Pawn up to c5 for black. Knight to e5 would be best for white. Bishop captures on e5, and we have pawn captures bishop on e5, and then bishop to f5 for black. Pawn pushes to e6 would be best for white here, and then pawn to f6 best for black. Bishop now captures knight on b6. Pawn captures knight on b6 by black, and now bishop to d5 would be best for white. Bishop now to d3 attacking the rook, but rook to d1, and now pawn to c4 by black. Bishop captures c4 by white. Bishop captures bishop for black, and now queen captures bishop. And now black should go ahead and offer a queen trade and repair the pawn structure. And white should have the advantage in this position, as opposed to the way things are likely to turn out, the way that Vincent played on the chessboard. But let's go back to that position now. So Vincent plays bishop to g5 here, not the best move in the position, but we will continue. I do want to point out that we do have the clocks there, although that's not really a factor at this point, but this is a time chess game, classical time controls. Magnus counters with the best possible move in the position, pawn to b5. The bishop's got to back up. Bishop back to e2 is really the best move that can be done here. And now Magnus moves his rook to the e file, rook to e8, and now castles by the German Grandmaster. And Magnus plays knight to b6 here. We have pawn to e4 by the German Grandmaster, and now bishop to e6 by the world champion. Queen back to c2 by white, and Magnus plays pawn to c5 here. Best possible move in the position. And white plays pawn to d5 here, attacking the bishop. Definitely a good way to go. We have bishop now to g4 by Magnus. And now bishop back to d2 by the German Super Grandmaster. We now have pawn to e6 by the world champion. And now rook to b1 by white. Magnus plays pawn to c4 here, really cramping down on the position, gaining some space. We have pawn captures on e6 by white, best possible move in the position. Magnus collects the pawn with rook captures e6. And now we have the fantastic move, knight to d4 by the German Grandmaster, attacking the rook. Magnus goes ahead and plays bishop captures on e2. And that was the best possible move in the position. And we have knight captures on e2 by the German Grandmaster. Magnus now pushes his a pawn to a6, just kind of shoring up that pawn structure. Best possible move to be played in the position. And now we have knight back to d4, attacking Magnus's rook. Magnus moves his rook all the way back to e8, best possible move in the position. And now we have rook to e1 by the German Grandmaster. We have knight to a4 by Magnus. And now knight to c6 by the German Grandmaster. Magnus repositions his queen to c7. And now we have the best possible move by white, knight to b4 here. Magnus plays the best possible move as well, knight to c5. And now we have knight to d5 by the German Grandmaster, attacking Magnus's queen once again. Seems like he's going to make him mad. Just keeps on attacking his queen. Don't you know this guy's world champion? Seems dangerous, threatening his queen. Magnus moves his queen to c6 now. And now we have bishop back to f4 once again. And this was a mistake. He should have instead played knight to b4, attacking Magnus's queen again. And let's actually go ahead and take a look at that variation real quick. So instead, the German Grandmaster should have played knight to b4 here, once again attacking Magnus's queen. Best for black would be queen to b7. Pawn now to f3, best for white. Now black should attack the knight with pawn to a5, and the knight finds himself a nice outpost on d4. So part of the reason this is a good position for white. Now pawn to f5 would be the best way for black to play in this position, and then white should play pawn to a4. Knight captures a4 for black, and now queen captures a4 for white. And of course, the pawn is pinned, so can't capture the queen. Queen captures knight on d5 would then be best, as both queens are hanging anyway. And pawn captures on d5 would be best for white. And of course, pawn captures on b4, best for black. And this would have been a better position for white than the one he was likely to face versus the world champion on the chessboard. Not a fantastic position, but better. Let's go ahead and go back to what actually happened on the chessboard, though. So Vincent plays bishop to g5, and we'll continue. Magnus finds the best possible move in the position. He plays knight captures on e4, attacking the bishop. And the German Grandmaster returns the favor with the best possible move, knight to e7 check, forking the king and queen. So, of course, Magnus must capture with rook captures e7. We now have bishop captures e7 by white, taking the rook. And now Magnus plays knight captures pawn on c3, best possible move. Vincent finds the best possible move as well. He plays rook b to c1, attacking the knight. And Magnus now plays the best possible move, just pawn to a5. We now have bishop to g5 by the German Grandmaster. Definitely a solid way to go. And Magnus plays the strongest move, pawn to b4. So the pawn's just taking advantage over there. 3 pawns versus 1. Not easy to deal with that. A solid move in the position played by white. Bishop back to d2, and now Magnus plays the best possible move. Rook to d8, and we have pawn to h4 by white. Magnus plays rook to d3 here, and now pawn to h5 by the German Grandmaster, just trying to get some sort of counterplay going on here. And we have Magnus capturing the pawn with g captures h5. And now the German Grandmaster plays the best possible move. Bishop captures knight on c3. We have bishop captures bishop on c3 by Magnus. And now queen to e2 by the German Grandmaster. Magnus plays the strongest move in the position. He plays queen to d4 here. And now we have queen all the way down to e8 with check. Best possible move in the position for the German Grandmaster. Magnus plays, the world champion plays the only move available to him. King to g7, and now rook to e3 by the German Grandmaster. We have pawn to h6 by Magnus, just giving him some space for his king. And now we have queen to e4 by the German Grandmaster. This is the best possible move in the position. Magnus goes ahead and trades queens with queen captures on e4. We, of course, have rook captures on e4. And now pawn to b3 by Magnus. This is the best possible move in the position. And now the German Grandmaster does find the best possible move for himself. He grabs the pawn on c4 with the rook. We now have b captures a2 for Magnus. And now rook to a4 by the German Grandmaster. Magnus plays a1 equals q, and the German Grandmaster plays rook c captures queen on a1. We have bishop, of course, captures rook. We have rook captures bishop, and now Magnus plays rook to d5, defending his pawn. We have rook a4 by the German Grandmaster, and now Magnus activates his king with king to f6. We have king to f1 by the German Grandmaster, but now king to e6. King e2 by white, and now we have rook f5 by Magnus. The king is stuck to that pawn, so he's going to have to advance it. So the German Grandmaster plays pawn to f3 here. We have king now to d6 by Magnus. This is the best possible move. You've got to get those kings active in a game like this where the kings are the second strongest piece. We have the best possible move by the German Grandmaster. He moves his rook to c4. Magnus now offers a rook trade with rook to c5. White cannot accept, so plays rook to f4, going after the pawn. Magnus now plays rook to e5 check. We have king to d3 by the German Grandmaster, and now Magnus goes to defend his pawn with king back to e6. We have rook now to a4 by the German Grandmaster, and Magnus plays king to f6. We now have rook back to f4 check by the German Grandmaster, and Magnus plays king to g6 now, best possible move. We have rook back to a4, best possible move for white. And now Magnus plays rook to g5, going after the pawn. We have rook back to a2, defending by the German Grandmaster. And Magnus plays rook to e5. We have rook now to a4 by the German Grandmaster, and Magnus plays pawn to f6. We have pawn now to g3 by the German Grandmaster, and Magnus plays rook to g5. We have king to e3 by white. Magnus now captures the pawn on g3, and we of course have rook captures a5 by white. We have pawn to h4 by Magnus, and now rook down to a8 by the German Grandmaster. And this was a blunder. He should have instead played king to f2, and we'll take a look at that variation now. So instead, the German Grandmaster should have played king to f2. We would have rook to g5, best for black. Rook now to A1 for white, and the rook's now coming over to H1, and with this lousy pawn structure with the doubled and isolated pawns, it would be possible to defend this position. But let's go back to what actually happened on the chessboard. So the German Grandmaster plays rook to A8, and we'll continue. Magnus plays the best possible move, king to H5. We now have king to F2 by the German Grandmaster, best possible move. Rook to G6 by Magnus. We now have rook to A5 by the German Grandmaster, best possible move, but Magnus just goes ahead and blocks and says, hey, you want to fix my pawn structure? Rook to G5 here. We have rook now to A3 by white, and Magnus plays pawn to H3. We have pawn now to F4 by white, and now Magnus plays the best possible move in the position. The world champion plays rook to G2 check, and it is on this move, move 65, that the German Grandmaster does resign the game. So the engine does say that white is totally losing, down 13 points. And so it does make sense that he resigned the position. Play might have continued something like king to F1 here, king up to H4. They should push their pawn to go ahead and maybe open up some attacks on the king, but then just rook blocks. Rook to A2 would be best here. And yeah, the pawn's just going to fall. So 3 extra pawns against the world champion. How are you going to win this? So yeah, it does make sense that this, young grandmaster did resign the game. Anyway, thank you for joining me for that. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Please join me. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to do a game review every day, so I'd like to know what you are all interested in so that I might bring that to you. Anyway, thank you. Bye-bye.